Josh, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So shares are trading up about 6% right now since your company started trading publicly. But coming into this offering today, a very healthy dose of skepticism from Wall Street due to financials. Revenue growth seems to be slowing down. Gross margins below industry peers. You're burning through cash pretty rapidly. I'd imagine this is something that's come up in conversations with investors leading up to today. What have you told them?
Yeah, the important thing is what you're doing for your customers. And we literally have Fortune 50 CEOs who are running their businesses on their phone using Domo. So sometimes when you do innovative things, there's skepticism, but you just keep pushing through, and we got a great financing done. We've got a great group of investors, and now we just continue to focus on the customers and make some great software.
What's been your response to ahead of this in the IPO filing? And I know that was revised as well, but response that upwards of $2.4 million was spent by the company on vendors that had a tie to you and or your family members.
Yeah, I wasn't really worried about what press says who you can't have conversations with because you're in your quiet period. I don't know what that industry is, but the people that really matter, the investors, especially the customers. I mean, customers are buying our software. And when you're, for instance, running a Fortune 50 retailer, and you have real-time data, you log in as CEO 15 times a day sometimes, then we feel like there's a really good utility that we're providing to our customers. And this is just a financing event. This is a milestone. My last company is doing over $2 billion in revenue for Adobe. We think we know how to build software, and there's gonna be some disbelievers, and we just gotta go out and prove them wrong by just focusing on our customers.
Hey Josh, let's talk about the dynamics in the business intelligence market. It's really competitive. Microsoft is in there, SAP, Tableau, of course, a public company.
Right.
That's a big competitor of yours. And there's downward pricing pressure, in part because of Tableau's new pricing option that allows people view-only access. How do you compete in that market where your approach seems to have been to offer premium features, built for mobile, invest in R&D, when competitors who are bigger right now are putting that downward pricing pressure on you?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, my last company, when I took it public, we have 5 times the R&D that we had for that company. This is just a really big problem. If you look at the BI market that you mentioned, there's 75% disapproval rating before we came along. And we're sitting here and we have our enterprise customers that have about 95% retention. And so it took a really, really big platform that was required to deliver a solution that literally right on your phone, you can see everything about your business. And I would challenge anybody to think about that. How many people really know everything about their business in real time, right on their phone? Billions of transactions, it doesn't matter. We can give you real-time data access to that. And that's just an experience that other people that maybe take more of a tech approach, well, we're focused on the CXOs, every frontline employee. We have customers that have over 10,000 users. And so it's just something that the world hasn't seen yet. And we have to be patient and we have to plod forward and do just a great job for our customers. But what we're seeing from our customers is just amazing things that we believe no one else can touch.
You know, Josh, we just had a conversation with John Chambers a moment ago. His argument was that we need to make it easier for entrepreneurs to go public in this country. You're one of a very small subset of CEOs who have founded and taken more than one company public. Are you sensing friction in the process or not?
Well, it's always hard to create a company that provides utility for customers at scale. And it's challenging, but at the same time, I mean, America is fantastic. You can go and get money. You can find believers. You can find employees and give them stock options and give them RSUs to compete against the really big companies that can afford to pay a lot of money to employees. You can find people that want to believe in the future, and the best way is show them what you're doing with customers and people get on board. That's what motivates our employees. Like you guys mentioned some of the bad press. It doesn't really bother me. I've had naysayers my whole life. But we have employees that look at what we're doing for our customers, and it's been galvanizing for us. So it's kind of a, show me country. And we're saying, watch us.
But what do you say to early investors when your company was valued on the private market at $2 billion and it's now trading at just over $500 million publicly?
Sorry. I mean, there's ups and downs. I don't know anything that's just smooth up and to the right. And thankfully, this isn't a transaction where everyone's selling their shares. This is a transaction where we raised more money. We got $200 million additional money in the balance sheet, and it's enough to get us to cash flow break even. And those investors are still believers. Some of those investors bought more stock. So it's just an opportunity that there's ups and there's downs, but these are just pricing events. These are just financing events. What really matters is, what does this thing look like in 24 months? What does this thing look like in 5 years? I hope I'm doing this for another 30 years and I'm running a $50 billion revenue business.
Speaking of, enterprise marketing and enterprise sales forces are really expensive. So
Yeah.
how do you grow in this really fragmented business intelligence market against some multi-tool players like Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and still hold that spending in check to the degree that eventually you get profitable?
Yeah, I mean, it took us a while. We definitely made some mistakes. We had to figure out the right approach to go to market. But the biggest thing in the enterprise is you need to have your customers standing up and saying, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm running my business. I had a CEO of one of the largest global banks say to me, Josh, do you want to know why I love Domo? I said, yeah, I do. He said, because it makes me godlike. I'm like, what? But that's how he feels. That's what we do for his business. We inform him so we can run his business in real time instead of getting data once a quarter like everybody on earth does. We can give it to him in real time, down to the frontline employee, and that's just something the world hasn't seen yet.
Well, Josh James, thank you for joining us today, CEO of Domo.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.